All right, on this Gun Talk Hunt, we are talking extremely accurate Savage rifles with Beth Shimanski of Savage Arms. We shoot the new Savage 110 Ultralite Elite at some really small targets, and we were blown away. All that right here, right now.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
All right, this episode is brought to you by Range Ready Studios.
All right, let's just jump into it. This is Gun Talk Hunt. I'm your host, KJ, and with me is Beth Shimanski of Savage Arms. And we're out here at Trinity Oaks and Thumbtack Ranch. And it's kind of been a series because I've kind of had multiple guests on. I had Tom Snyder. I had Charles Allen on. And now you're kind of wrapping this up.
Awesome. You had some big hitters.
Right?
Wow.
And then there was you.
And then there's me. Hey.
I'm just saying, you're a big hitter. So walk me through kind of the roundup of the trip and what we're doing here and all that good stuff.
So obviously this time of year for a lot of manufacturers is focused around new products. We're, 6-8 weeks from SHOT Show. It's crazy.
Say that.
So, and obviously it's fall, it's hunting season, so it's a great time to get writers like yourself. And we actually had 4 others in camp, a couple, that you'll see on camera and stuff. So we were fortunate enough that we had enough new products ready that I brought out a lot of new products.
Yeah, you brought out new products, not only from like upcoming, but new products from last year because I was hunting with the Impulse Mountain Hunt, which was awesome, but it's kind of a new caliber, 7 PRC.
It is, yep.
Brought out.
Yep.
I'm thankful that you guys did, and knowing what I know now on shot placement, I would have done everything totally different. But that's neither here nor there.
That's another podcast.
That is a whole nother podcast where it's just going to be a therapy session.
That works.
That might be.
Just talk it out.
Yeah, you got to talk through these.
You do.
So let's jump into your hunting, and kind of your background, and then in the second half we'll get into all the new product.
All right, awesome.
So, what's your hunting background, and then walk me through your hunt here because high fence hunting is not as easy as everybody makes it seem.
I mean, when it's high fence around 2,000 acres, I mean, yes, it's a high fence, but oh my gosh, it's some thick stuff in here.
That's what it is. It's thick, and it's rugged, and I don't think people understand. Like they think, well, that feeder goes off, and every animal within earshot just rushes to it to eat. But that's really not what I've experienced on this place. And this is one of the smaller high fenced operations that I've ever hunted.
Yeah.
And we were really struggling to find, because you were looking for a nilgai. Or an aoudad?
Nilgai or the Orbuck or the Simbach, whatever they call it, the cross, the Gemsbach and the Scimitar Oryx cross.
Which they are gorgeous.
Beautiful animals.
Now seeing one like really up close, because I have a couple Scimitar Oryx, and these are like lighter, and they're just firm animals. And I was
They are.
And you know what? I never saw one like shooter bull.
No, we saw one, and it was crossing the road from thick brush to thick brush, and we were like,
see ya, goodbye.
But I mean, so talking about this hunt specifically, I mean, the male and female of those Simbach are identical except for what looks like an outie belly button, essentially. And I mean, you've got to make sure, because the females are pregnant right now. Right. So obviously we're not going to harvest those.
You don't want to double dip.
Nope, we are not doing that. I don't have that checkbook with. But yeah, I mean, it is. There's a perception of, high fence, it's so easy. They're feeders. It's like, well, there's 16 stands on this property, and there was 8 hunters. So there's a lot of places for these animals to be, a lot of feeders for them to be at.
A lot of the exotics, typically, from talking with my guide Lee Stokes, he said that a lot of the exotics really kind of are primarily nocturnal. Like they prefer the nighttime movement and stuff like that. And we've had very overcast days, drizzling.
Yep.
Really, the first day was the only day where it was, sunny.
Right. And talking about the nilgai and the Simbach is they're nomadic. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, there might be a protein feeder they stop at, but they're not coming to the feeders when they go off, you know, like the whitetail are. And
Yeah.
so if you happen to see one crossing, good luck,
Yeah,
because it's not stopping, and
they
it's
don't stop.
no.
Like, that's what was so frustrating about it. Because, like, last night, we had, so I was still in my same location trying to recover my wounded Neil guy, and never saw it, not even a trace of it. And so last night there was like a bachelor group of nilgai bulls like 350 yards away, and they didn't stop.
Just cruising.
I was like, hey, there's
Yep, there they go.
there they go. Like,
Weren't they pretty?
so frustrating.
It is, and like I said, like Neil guy was my number one. I didn't know about the Simbach until we got here,
Right.
and then I saw one. I was like, just beautiful animals. And from talking to Philip, one of the guides, he's like, that's his favorite game meat, and I'm like,
I really think all these guys are onto something, because my Lee, his favorite meat was nilgai.
yeah.
I happen to be trying to go after a nilgai.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and you had Mary Beth.
I had Mary Beth. We were
What
going
was her
to.
favorite?
She likes Axis and Neil guy.
See, and you were going after nilgai.
I was going after
I
Neil
think
guy.
there's something up.
They paired us up.
Yeah, I think they're like, hey, he wants a nilgai, so tell him how great they
Yeah,
taste.
tell them how good it is.
Poor guy that goes after one of the hogs.
Ooh,
I did shoot one of those.
you
last
did.
night.
You shot a beauty.
Yeah, which was great.
That was
It was
awesome.
like 900 pounds.
It's huge.
According to the picture.
Yeah, the photo will come later.
Yeah, I'll have to post that picture because that was hilarious. We had John Geiger in camp, who's another writer, executive director at SCI.
Yes, yeah.
And just phenomenal. We had Brian McCumbee out here. And one of the coolest things is we had Jim Zumbo out here. I don't
Yes.
know whose idea it was to get him out here.
I don't know.
But what a joy to have it.
Yes.
Because he was, man, I got to sit there and share stories with him last night. And we just sat there and talked like, I don't know, till like 10:30.
It's awesome.
That was great.
So much history, and just to have someone like that in camp is just his personality
Oh, yeah.
was just awesome.
It shines through for sure.
Swears like a sailor, but hey, you know,
He's hilarious.
it's the industry. It's what we do.
Oh yeah, it is what we do. So okay, walk me through the rest of your hunt. Like,
Yeah.
how tough it was.
So the first morning, I mean, we saw tons of game. So lots of whitetail,
How many whitetail did you see in 2.5 days?
200 at least.
She.
And I mean, and you talk about bucks.
Yeah.
And this isn't a breeding program. This is natural genetics.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was some good whitetails out there. And he even said, you know, they do a lot of like veterans programs and things out here. So they try to take the mature animals. So they had a lot of probably 3-4-year-olds. We didn't see a ton of, maybe a couple real old ones, but beautiful whitetails. And then a lot of young.
Oh yeah.
A lot of young.
Running everywhere.
Yes.
We saw the only old buck we saw that I was like, that dude's got to go. Was, I mean, he was like he never came to a feeder.
Really?
I only saw him once, and it was for like 10 minutes max.
Okay.
And he came out of the brush line, and he was sitting there looking like head on to us, and you could tell like the right side of his face, like he had either been gored in the eye or like the eye was missing or something.
Yeah.
But his whole right side of his face was droopy, almost like he had a stroke.
Really?
But he had pot belly, and his ears flopped all the way down like you would see.
Old man?
Yeah, he was an old man. And just this beautiful big 8-point.
Ooh.
Not going to produce anything else,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Time to go.
I turned into the guide because I was like, Lee, you got to shoot that deer. I was like, Lee.
You're guiding the guide.
Yeah, I'm guiding the guide, and I'm like, hey, buddy, you've got to shoot that deer.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'll never be invited back. I was like, but isn't it worth it?
True.
Like, yeah.
Go out on a high note, buddy.
No, go on a high note. So, but no, he wouldn't do it. But the age structure and what they were saying, and maybe you got the same thing, but they were saying that the freeze that happened here
Yes.
in Texas a few years ago
Yeah.
really decimated the older population
Yeah.
of the ranches, and they actually fared pretty well because I think they said they only lost like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 animals or something
Okay.
like that, whereas a lot of the ranches around
Yeah. Hit it bad.
hit it bad.
The other thing they talked about was the drought lasts in the last year. So it's raining now, and it's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
rained for a couple of days, which is great because they need it.
Yeah.
But he said they lost some of the mature bucks too. Just the drought hit them hard. So it's
Frustrating.
it is. You don't want them to go that way, and but
Is what it is.
it happens.
All right, we're going to jump in here real quick from a word from our sponsors, but after this, we're going to talk about all the new things Savage has coming out because it's a lot. So just stay tuned.
All right, Range Ready Studios. If you're looking to become a better shooter, and you're going to find out more like through the coming weeks that, you know what, if you prepare all year long, no matter how hard you prepare, some things happen. You better be prepared, and that starts by preparing your trigger finger, and you can do that all at Range Ready Studios. We offer a wide range of classes and to train you up for your next hunting season, your next self-defense encounter. Oh, hope it doesn't come to that, but if you are, you better be prepared, and you owe it to yourself and your family to get that way. So come take a class at Range Ready Studios. The new class schedule should be up. So the 2024 schedule is starting to fill up. Claim your spot at rangereadystudios.com.
All right, we're back. Gun Talk Hunt. I'm your host, KJ, and with me is Beth Shimanski of Savage Arms. All right. We already talked briefly about we've had the Savage Impulse Mountain Hunter on Gun Talk before, and we've shown that proof research barrel, the Impulse Action, which is super smooth. Let's just focus real quick right now on the Impulse and the straight pull rifles. What are people going to notice first when they pull that thing? Because here's my fear, and I bet this is y'all's fear too, that a guy will go into a Cabela's, a Bass Pro, or wherever, and they go, well, what's that Savage up there? Well, it's the new Impulse. He's going to pick that thing up and go, why do I need this?
Yep.
Like, and he's obviously going to have a hard time working because he's going to be sitting there pushing up. It's just a rock back, and it's a pull straight back and rock it forward.
It is, yeah. And a lot of it is just the perception change. And we even saw some of the writers out on the range doing it who hadn't spent time behind it. You know, it's your instinct, if you've been hunting behind guns long enough, is like up, back, down, you know, and it's not that. So one of the reasons we like it is, one, it allows you to stay down on the rifle.
Right.
You know, when you're hunting game, you want to have a second round in that chamber if you need it, and that straight back, you're not shifting the gun at all, you're not moving the gun. It really gives you the flexibility to keep your cheek down on the gun, keep your target in the optic, and it's a nice, like I said, smooth action. Takes a little practice on the range for sure.
Yeah.
But that's one of the main reasons we wanted it. One, it's obviously got accuracy behind it, but really just giving hunters confidence in taking out one more scenario that can happen when you're in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Just keep it easy.
Yeah, and that's one thing I noticed on the hog last night. It was last light, so light is decreasing by the millisecond. And I had a lit reticle on the Zero Tech optic, but so I shot, and I immediately ran the bolt to get back on it. The hog never left the frame of the scope when I was running the bolt. Now, typically, when you're running a long action, like on a 7PRC, there's a tendency when that bolt is coming back, there's you could hit your face.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Yeah.
Which will cause you to adjust your head, and then you're going to have to get back on your gun if you're not really super familiar with your gun.
Yep. Yeah, and the other thing we like about it is just the speed at which you can get another round in the chamber. I mean, you're taking out 2 whole movements. So like you said, one, keeping the target in the optic, but then just the speed at which you can reload and be ready to go if you need a second shot. And those are really the 2 things that we wanted to see. And obviously it's not a new technology. This is what they hunt with in Europe for driven hunts. And that's, you know, running targets and fast follow-up shots. And that's really what, you know, we're trying to do with Impulse.
And I heard you talking to someone last night. I think it was last night, about someone who has had one and they've put 2,000 rounds to it, and it just keeps getting.
It loosens up. It loosens up. Yeah, I mean, coming from the factory, it's going to be a little stiff, and that's probably what they'll feel in the store.
Yeah.
You know, we put few rounds through it, proof rounds, and run the bolt in the factory. But one of our a guy out of the UK, he's a deer manager.
Right.
He's killed, harvested, probably about 500 or 600 deer with his Impulse. He's got the Hog Hunter,
kidding.
and I mean, that thing is just you've got to grab the bolt, but I mean, he's 2 fingers, throw it closed.
No kidding.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, the more you work it, the more you spend time behind it, it just becomes habit, like a bolt action has.
Yeah. So what's new? What has come? What's new? Because so you guys are coming out with your own performance clothing line,
Yep.
which is awesome, which you're sporting right
now.
You're coming out with bipods.
Bipods.
Which is cool, which is kind of a partnership between MDT and then your new rifles.
New Climb. So we actually launched the Climb series here, and what we did is we took the Mountain Hunter on the Impulse line and the Ultralite in the 110 line, and we partnered with a stock company out of Austria called Fine Ballistic Tools, FBT, and was able to take nearly a pound out of each of those rifles by switching to the carbon fiber stock. So it's, thumb hole stock, really nice palm swell, kind of that more pistol grip, which I think a lot of rifles are going to now. It's a more comfortable position than the kind of the old stock, and really just lightweight is what people are wanting more and more. And it, good recoil pad to absorb. I mean, we're shooting big calibers in those.
The recoil management I was negligible. I mean, given what you guys have been able to produce as such a lightweight rifle, which is cool.
Yep. So that was really cool to actually have those in camp the day we launched them to the public. So we got a lot of love about those. And then we had a couple others. So obviously we talked about the bipods. Those are in December going to be on the shelves. And then the other thing we're launching that day is suppressors.
That's another one.
So we're launching a line of suppressors called ACU. So we're going to have an AC-22, an AC-30 for 30 cal, and then a 338 for Lapua. So
big ones.
Big ones.
So are these direct thread, or are they going to be?
They're direct thread. So I'll have to get you. Well, you have an SOT, so you're going to get some to test out.
That'd be nice.
So we've had them on a few hunts. We're just getting the first shipments are actually going out probably this week to distributors that have them on order, and we're going to launch them December 6th. So.
Jeez.
And then,
they're already out.
And then there's more. But wait, there's more. This is our infomercial.
This is our infomercial right now. But I will say this. So I'm sitting there shooting the rifle Beth's going to talk about, and I was like, you know what? Like, how instead of aiming at like a bullseye circle that's like, it's pretty second nature to most of us, like have been shooting a lot, to go, okay, let's just make this gun go off. Boom, it hits paper. That's awesome. Okay, it's a piece of steel. Ding, I got steel. So I'm sitting there going, I wonder if I could hit that paper clip. Or
clothespin.
Yep. From 100 yards. I was like, I wonder if I could do that. And I shot twice, and I was figuring out, like, so it was just a touch under for me, because I hadn't shot that gun yet. And then the third shot wiped it out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I run over to Beth. I go, Beth, you've got to shoot this.
We got to knock down the target.
Yeah, I was wanting to knock down the target and take the whole paper out of the target. And you get up there, and you put three almost through the same hole. Like, I think you hit the clothespin every single time, and the last one obliterated it. And what gun is that?
That is the 110 Ultralite Elite. So again, we take our Ultralite platform. So Proof Research, Savage Design barrel, but we're partnering with the MDT Hunt 26 chassis. So that chassis obviously weighs 26 ounces. So when you put that with the Ultralite, we've got the folding stock version, which is awesome. The rifle itself comes in at about 5 pounds.
Just the rifle?
Just the rifle.
That's
for fun, we put an AC-30 AccuCan on it. We put the magazine in. We put a lighter weight optic on it. And the entire package came in under 8 pounds.
Jeez. Under 8 pounds.
Under 8 pounds.
And that's with a can.
That's with the can. That's with the optic. That's everything you would be throwing on your pack to hit the backcountry.
Oh my God.
And I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good to me.
That sounds great to me. Well, in the backcountry hunters, like, it's all about, saving that weight and like making sure like your weight is distributed evenly where you need it. And if you can pack in a sub-8 rifle with a can, so now you don't have to have hearing protection or anything like that. So.
Correct. And you collapse the stock. I mean, now we're down to what we say like 28 inches total.
Is what we were thinking.
Is our guess. I mean, you're not grabbing branches, and it's a really
keeps it
lightweight,
out of the way.
Compact offering, and that's going to come in 6.5 Creedmoor and PRC, the 7 PRC that we were shooting this week, 308 right out of the gate. So we're going to have kind of the standard calibers, and then we'll go up to, probably 300 WSM, 300 Win Mag in that as well. So that'll be a good one.
I'm telling you, it's a shooter. And I could stick my pinky finger in the 3 shots that she shot, which was absolutely, that's how you know it's a good gun, and especially a light gun like that.
Yeah.
The recoil was nothing.
No. I mean, and things I like about it, obviously it's got the MDT carbon fiber pistol grip, which I love. It's just a good shooting position for myself.
Yeah.
And like you said, recoils. And the other piece of it that we like about that stock is, you're familiar with our ACU Fit on the 110 line, is letting shooters adjust the gun. So that's going to come with length of pull spacers. It's got comb height. It's got the ACU Trigger, obviously, which you can adjust. So make the gun your own.
Okay. That's something that we need to talk about, is the ACU Trigger, because it is the 20th anniversary.
It is.
But this one was different. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm going, I load my mags up and I go, okay, here we go. And I put the magazine in, and I'm like, it's a flush fit mag. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I was like, I better take a couple dry fire practice with this, just to see. So I took the mag out, and I'm sitting there, and that's what you should always do with a gun you're not familiar with. Mm-hmm. Take it out, do some dry fire practice with it, it'll be fine. But I touched that ACU Trigger, and it has a very distinct feel, so you know that take-up's there. Mm-hmm. But it broke super light, like so light. I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't have a round."
Surprise!
Surprise! So, what are you guys doing new with the ACU Trigger? Because that did not feel.
Yeah, so a lot of our standard 110s probably come in. I would say 2.5 to 6 pounds is the range, but they're probably set at 3.5, 3 to 4 pounds coming out of the factory. Well, with the ultralight rifles, we're down to 1.5 to 4 pounds adjustability, so they're getting set a little bit lighter at the factory.
Wow,
so that's
why it felt so much different, because it really did.
You were just so excited to
I was. Maybe I was, but like typically on a trigger, I'm like, oh, that's really light.
Yeah.
And it's crisp. And like there's like hardly any take up.
Yeah.
Like just that little safety shoe, and then you're there.
You're ready to go. But like you said, spend time behind your rifle, understand it, and like you'll learn your trigger when it's your rifle. And
and you can, and what we always say around the offices, you like call your shot. Like that's you want to be able to call your shot, and you can only do that with a good trigger and a good shooting gun. Mm-hmm. And Savage is doing it.
We're excited. Oh, lot to come.
All right, we're gonna get on another hunt together at some point.
We have to.
Yeah, because it had so much fun. All right, that's it for us from the Thumbtack Ranch and Trinity Oaks Foundation. Go give them a look, trinityoaks.org. But where can they learn more about Savage?
SavageArms.com.
That's so easy. Get all your swag, performance gear, and she had a jacket on that was super slick.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming out. So we've got the lifestyle stuff that I've got on, kind of some hunting, and then we've got technical apparel will hit this spring, and we're kind of testing it right now. So it
looks good. I'll give you that.
Love it.
All right, all you Gun Talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction, and always be on the hunt.
To see all of Gun Talk's content, go to guntalk.com, guntalktv.com, or sign up for the Gun Talk newsletter.